This power cannot be revoked. This power cannot be revoked. Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. Face obliteration. Face obliteration.
Sports.
Enjoy the silence.
Von Allen Sports.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports, the Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Von Allen Sports.
I thought Beyonce was black. That was weird. I thought it was just like a blonde chick with a tan. What's up? What's up, guys? Let's go. Let's go. All right. Right before we got started, did you see that throw by Kirk Cousins? That touchdown throw? That perfect. Beautiful. That looked like something Brady would have done, you know? That was a great throw. So, check it. Look what Trump sent this to me, baby. What's up? Let's go. Who we got here right now? Phil Williamson, what's up, man? Darn, what's up? Alpha Courage. Israel. Israel. What an appropriate name for you, Israel. So, you know? Israel gets my meaning. Inside joke, fellas. Inside joke. All right. So, if you guys want to send a super chat, of course, it's at the top there. It's pinned to the very top there. So, that's right. You got something to say? Somebody got something to say? Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't think so. All right. So we got the Falcons up 14-10. From the 4-yard line. Can y'all even hear that?
Tucker.
I can't hear that. Can you hear that? I can't hear that. Weird. I wonder why it's not coming through to me there. Nah, it doesn't matter. Okay. Who cares? Kenneth, what's up, man? Where you been? Where have you been? Mastermind is in the Rumble chat. What's up, man? How are you doing? So, of course, as you guys know, we're coming off the week where Baker Mayfield basically was whining about Trump, about Tom, you know, saying that all of the Buccaneers players were basically they weren't having fun. Okay, so they weren't having fun when Tom was there, but now they're having fun. Now, okay, now they're all just like, I don't know, being gay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he means by that. That's nice that they're having fun, but to be honest with you, it's a job. This is a job. You're getting paid millions of dollars. Millions. To do this. And there's only one of two outcomes. You either win or you don't. And the fans have expectations for you. I'm sorry, but I really don't care about their feelings. I don't care about whether they're having fun or not. Okay? You might be able to joke around. There's a great throw by Baker, incidentally. Mike Evans was left wide open. That's the only way Mike Evans can catch a ball. He can't catch it in traffic. But Kirk Cousins is on the sidelines thinking, what do I have to do? Well, guess what? Both teams have coaches who are not offensive minded. So it's like really interesting how these defenses can't stop anything. So, okay. There's nothing more fun than winning Super Bowls, Mastermind says. That's true. Yeah. But anyway. You know what? I bet you after Tom left, Baker and all of them were singing this. You know? I mean, you have to you have to picture this, and it's just too perfect, honestly.
You might call me a pussy, but I won't hear
Yes, that's right. I'm almost certain that they're sitting around with that song on. But I tell you what, I would rather have the stress of competing and knowing that I have a chance at winning. Actually, no, let me put this in a fan's perspective. Here's a fan's perspective. I hate this. I hate this year, this season. I hate this season. And I hate other seasons in the recent past. You know why? Because I know for a fact that we're not going to get anywhere. I know that our season was over before it ever started. There is literally no stress. No stress. Okay? That sucks. I would rather have the stress of when we get into the playoffs and are we going to win the AFC Championship game? Are we going to get to the Super Bowl? What's going to happen? That's stressful as a fan. That's a good thing. That's a good type of stress. What's bad, what sucks, is not having a care at all. Like knowing that your team sucks so bad that it doesn't even matter what happens. Like, or you don't even get up in time to watch your team play because you know they're going to lose anyway. That's a new thing for me, actually. It's a weird thing, but let's see. We have some new people added here. Blind Assassin, what's up? Ken, you been working? Work. Save that money, Ken. Save it. Who knows what the future brings? Phil Williamson, what's up? Gord King, what's up? Where you been? Gord King, where you been? Darn says, am I a bad fan if I become more of a fair weather fan of some of my teams? Yeah, no. They're a bad team. You're not a bad fan. They're a bad organization. So, let me tell you this. If you go your whole life buying Ford Mustangs, okay, because they're good cars, and then Ford decides to start making your Mustang, like in Guatemala or Mexico or somewhere else, okay, where they're not doing a good job, and its quality's crap. Are you going to keep buying the Mustang? Does that mean, if you don't keep buying the Mustang, are you a bad customer? Are you not a fan of Ford anymore? No. It means that they suck. It means that they decided that they were going to put out bad product, right? How is a team not any different? Okay? So, that's the way I see it. Second, I can't keep my stupid glasses still. Okay, there we go. All right. So no, that doesn't make you a bad fan. That makes them a bad team and a bad organization because they're not even trying. Here's where, as a fan, that you're allowed to jump ship temporarily. You're allowed to jump ship temporarily if your organization is so bad that you don't even have a chance to sniff the playoffs. You're excused. You're fine. Go do something else. Because any organization that gives even a 20% of a damn can put together enough wins to at least have a shot at that 7th seed. Okay? To be as bad as some of these teams are, I mean, you just really have to not give a crap. And the reason these owners don't mind it is because they're getting a profit sharing deal. So the good teams carry the bad teams, And so the bad teams who spend the minimum salary cap get bailed out and get funding by the big teams. So it makes no difference. So like every time used to see, Peyton versus Tom Brady, Denver Broncos versus Patriots in primetime, okay? Patriots kept getting primetime games, but the Jacksonville Jaguars, who never on TV, let's say, they're still going to get a cut of that. So it's a nice business to be in, to be an NFL owner. If you don't care about winning and you just want to make money, because no matter what you do, you can keep losing over and over and over. You can lose every single year without ever doing anything, without ever paying any players. You can just exist. And the net worth of your team is going to go up and up, and the value of your team is going to go up and up and up just because the rest of the league is carrying you. So when you are a fan of a team that can't even put together a few wins, you should leave that team, okay? And they don't deserve your attention until they start putting product on the field that is good. I understand. Oh, Aaron, but what about a rebuild? Okay, rebuild. All right, listen. There's a difference between rebuilding and just sucking, hoping to get some draft picks and hoping that something might happen. Okay, something might happen in the future. It should be called retooling. Okay? And even if you're rebuilding, you can still put together some games. There's no excuse, okay? This is a professional league. Everybody in the league are pros. They're all the best of the best. So, am I expecting a Super Bowl during a rebuild year? No, of course not. But I'm expecting at least an average season, okay? If you're in total rebuild, I'm expecting at least putting together 7, 8 wins. I think that's reasonable. If you're really trying, I think you can do that. And even during your rebuild, let's say that you have a rookie quarterback or a new quarterback, you put some things around him that helps him out. Maybe, spend some money on an offensive line or spend some money on some good running backs and wide receivers that can bail him out, some good tight ends or something. There's ways to because you're saving tens of millions on a rookie quarterback that you'd have to pay a veteran. So there's ways to do this, and it's all excuses, So, like, I'm not expecting the Patriots to do anything big, but I am expecting them to be able to win some games because this is embarrassing. It's utterly pathetic, okay? And it also depends on your team situation. Like 1 in 16, like you said, 1 in 16, 2 and 15. I swear that 17th game now screws up everything. Spend your whole life like knowing exactly what the numbers are, and you have to add one or subtract one. It's so stupid. But let's say a team that is in rebuild, okay? They go and they win 3 games, okay? That's atrocious. That is utterly pathetic. You should just disqualify them from the NFL, okay? That is as bad. That is the equivalent of when Tom Brady's Bucs went 8-9. That's the same, okay? So it depends on what your roster is, what your ability is, and what the expectations are, and what is reasonably possible. So again, I'm not expecting the Patriots to sit there and go all the way or do something or win the division or whatever. That's not realistic, okay? But they better win 7-8 games, okay? That I think that is completely acceptable for a fan to expect. But with that saying that better lead, if you're saying it's a rebuild, then that means that next year and the year after is going to be improved, correct? Because that's why you're saying it's a rebuild. You're saying this is a step to the next best thing. So if you're not doing that, then what do we do with you? You know? And this right here is how a lot of these teams get stuck in the mediocrity, and these owners, they get used to it. They don't mind. So, applesauce. It's actually green. You can't, but the green screen, so it turns it black. Whoa! Okay. Okay, let's go back. I missed a little bit there. Minuteman says the Buccaneers are doing what the Patriots aren't doing, winning. True. Gord King says, yeah, I'm usually asleep during the show because I work in about 6 hours. Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I knew that you worked at night. I just wasn't sure exactly your hours. So you got to get up at 3. I see. Okay. Zarin says, I'm a Chicago sports fan, used to be a diehard Cubs fan, watched and listened to every game. When they finally won, I kind of just tuned out after a while. Kenneth Flagler Jr. says, my issue with Baker, why he was talking about that stuff, it should have stayed in the locker room. Yeah, that's not something that you want to let people know, because that means that Mike Evans and other guys that played with Tom, that Tom considers them friends, and they consider Tom friends. And when you reveal something like that, did he make that kick? Way cool. That's Milena's favorite kicker. Way cool. Very cool. What? When you say something like that, that puts like Mike and other guys on the spot, and Tom is thinking, are they talking bad about me? Are they complaining about me? So Tom thinks that, and then now those guys are worried that Tom might be mad at them. So Ken is right, absolutely. That's private stuff. Okay, it's like when you have a group of friends or something, and you're in high school, you know how things get around, and you tell one friend that you're concerned about the other friend, and then they tell this somebody else. Yeah, there's certain things that aren't meant to be shared because they're not necessarily an insult. They're just someone, and maybe they even said that to Baker to make him feel good. Okay, because you have to consider Baker I think Mike Evans believed it. He's a wuss. But the other ones, I'm not so sure, because Baker came in trying to take over for the greatest quarterback that's ever lived. There's a lot of pressure there. Maybe they said just something like, it's more relaxed, so just do your thing. We're happy you're here. We're not trying to compare you to Tom. And they were really trying to get Baker's confidence up and make him feel comfortable. That's also a possibility, but I think few of them meant it, because it's not easy to play for Tom Brady. It's not easy to play for Belichick or somebody with that mentality. So yeah, Ken, absolutely, you're completely right, buddy. It's it should have stayed in house. You can't share stuff like that. Thorne says that I tuned out of the Bears after that 2010 NFC title game and have been on and off since pretty much since then. Still hoping for a 4,000-yard passer. What the hell's going on here? Boy, I read one comment and I miss a play. Look at that. Was that a run? I just saw the end of it. Some kind of trick play. How did he get in space so easily? It is a run. Interesting. Because I didn't see any Falcons in the backfield, so that's why I was like, wait, what? So what you're seeing with the Bucs is different coordinators. So this is what a coordinator can do for you. The big difference. So they're not still they're not using the idiot Byron Leftwich. So that's just how it goes. That dude's a tall running back too. You don't see that very often. I remember Darren McFadden. He was a tall dude. He's from Arkansas. You guys remember him? Played for the Raiders. Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't have let something like that get out. So we've got let's see, we've got some new arrivals. Brandon the Casual Gamer, what's up? Jared Goff, 18 for 18 in his last game. I don't know if you guys watched that game Monday night, Lions Seahawks. It was a really good one. I really am on the Lions bandwagon right now. And I'm just going to be honest, 3 reasons, and I think those 3 reasons are good enough. That was a bad play call. The Falcons saw that coming a mile away. But how did Baker not see that the Falcons were lined up for that? That was weird. I like the Lions because, as you guys know, I've always liked Jared Goff. I liked him since he was a Ram. So you guys know that. I even was complimenting him the year that he went to the Super Bowl against us. He had a tough time in the Super Bowl, but it's not only his fault. Okay, I think we know what happened there. But he was blamed. He was blamed for everything wrong with the Rams. And I hate that crap. So Falcons blew up another play, snuff it out. Dude, read the defense, Baker. Pre-snap reading. Come on. What are you doing? Two, I'd say my favorite wide receiver in the league is Amon-Ra St. Brown. And 3, I want to see the Lions win something. They're one of the old school originals, and they've never done anything in the Super Bowl era. And they've had, Barry Sanders, they've had, Megatron, these great players. It's the curse of Bobby Lane, So I think it'd be cool. To see the Lions get somewhere here. So Ryan Dyer says the Chiefs are frauds. 3 out of 4 of the Chiefs' wins this season so far have had either head scratching or suspicious situations to them. So they're going, as long as the Kelsey Taylor Swift relationship contract is not expired, the Chiefs won't lose in the Super Bowl again. So they'll just keep winning for however long that contract is for those two. I'm not saying that as a joke. I literally mean this. So the season's pointless, honestly, because as long as that's the situation. And the reason is because the only way you're going to beat the Chiefs is in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. You got to beat them by blowing them out. And there's no Tom Brady. There's nobody out there that can do that. I would dare say that maybe, Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback, a great quarterback, but the Jets aren't the kind of team that can pull something like that together. They just don't have that it factor. So it's got to be somebody who can get ahead, and the refs really can't help them, and the refs can't do anything about it. And that's it. So that's the key. That's the key to beating the Chiefs. But that means that team has to get out to a early start without the penalties and stuff like that, like catching them off guard, like recovering a fumble for a touchdown or pick sixes and things like that. Great throw by Baker. Who's that? Shepard? Awesome. Really, really good looking touchdown there. Kirk Cousins is like, what do I have to do, man? Come on. Elva Courage says, it's like it's not the same Robert Kraft after Super Bowl 53. Let me tell you something about Robert Kraft. If you know what he is, you will understand the situation with the Patriots right now. After Super Bowl 53, and after the Patriots failed to, win even a playoff game in 2019, Kraft realized he wants to transition into running the team. He wants to set up power for Jonathan. He wants to set up total control for Jonathan, but he also wants to make some money by cutting corners in the salary cap, because they've always, been at the top of spending they just spread the money around, but it's from an owner's perspective, he's always spending. He's also paying Belichick. He was paying Belichick probably $20 million a year. So they basically wanted to get out of that, and that's what this is all about. That's it. That's all it's about. It's about the Krafts controlling the team. They have absolute control now. They don't have to pay a coach. They're paying Mayo peanuts. They're not paying a quarterback. They have no superstars. They got rid of Judon, so they don't have to pay him. So if you know, you know. If you know what I'm saying about Robert Kraft, you know. Okay? There's two types of those people. There's the ones that are good people, regular people like us, and then there are the ones that are tribal and thieves and greedy, and Kraft is one of those. So I don't think you should own a team if you don't want to win, but a lot of these guys, with Kraft, he's like, he doesn't need to win anymore as far as he's concerned. So Oh, the Bucs don't win a Super Bowl with anybody other than Tom Brady. Of course, easily, because the team played the way they did because Tom was, so, like on their case all the time. So. Yeah, Thorne, I wouldn't mind the Bears, doing something, but every time they get somewhere, they choke and throw it away, and it's just a big waste. Like, I'll never understand the 2006 season for the Bears. I'll never get it. You have a Super Bowl in your hand, okay? You could tell the whole year you could see that the Super Bowl is right in their hands. All you had to do was get a quarterback. All you had to do was get rid of Rex Grossman. That's it. All you had to do. You get an average quarterback. I'm talking like a 14th, 15th best quarterback in the league. Just an average quarterback. And you win the Super Bowl. That's how good that defense was. That's how good that special teams was. If you just had a serviceable quarterback that wasn't just constantly turning the ball over 4 or 5 times a game. I was at a game between the Bears and the Cardinals. Monday Night Football. The Bears were they were undefeated. I can't remember the exact, I think they were 6-0 or 7-0, something like that. Ken Wisenhunt was starting Matt Leinart for God knows why, okay, over Kurt Warner. And for most of the game, it looked like a good decision. And I remember Matt Leinart hit Anquan Bolden in the end zone, this great throw. It was really exciting, and it was like, okay, the Cardinals broke the Bears' winning streak. The 72 Dolphins can have their champagne and all that crap, right? And then all of a sudden, the Bears' defense and special teams started doing their thing. Matt Leinart turning the ball over, doing Matt Leinart type stuff. I think Devin Hester might have ran one back in that game. I remember Brian Urlacher, he stripped it. I think Peanut Tillman actually got one too. And the Bears came back and won. They were getting blown out the whole game. There were Bears fans leaving. There was a Bears fan that walked by me and shook my hand, because I guess he just assumed I was a Cardinals fan or whatever, and said, good game, good game, good game. I'm like, okay. And then the Bears started coming back. So there were Bears fans that left. Half the stadium were Bears fans, by the way. That Bears team, that was their worst game of the year, and they still won it. And Rex Grossman, in that game, I think he threw 5 interceptions. 4 or 5, something like that. It was a lot. Or maybe 4 or 5 turnovers, like including fumbles. But there was a lot. All they had to do was just get a serviceable quarterback. Do you know who was available in 2006? They could have traded the Cowboys for Drew Bledsoe. Put Drew Bledsoe on that Bears team with that defense and that special teams. What do you got? They beat the Colts. They beat the Colts in the Super Bowl. With as bad as Rex Grossman was, that was a sloppy Super Bowl for the Colts. But that would have been the difference maker. Now, the problem for the Lions, I feel, is what's going to stop the Lions is their coach. For all of the positives that coach brings to, getting them this dog mentality and believing that they can really do great things, for all of that, he makes very dumb decisions in game. He's like Andy Reid used to be. Okay, that's essentially what he is and what he's about. So it's what Andy Reid used to be. Yep, mastermind, there's nothing more fun than winning Super Bowls. That's right. Yeah, I agree, Ken. It would be a good story. And be a nice change, too. Yeah, Tharn, I said that Leinart was going to be a bust. I knew it. I could see that his game didn't translate. I thought that he was surrounded by all that USC talent and it was covering it up. I just didn't think he'd work. And that's what happened. But I'll be 100% honest with you. I also thought that Reggie Bush would not be a good pro. Because all that high-flying stuff that made him popular really doesn't translate to the NFL, at least not in 2006. It might work now, but not back then. Yeah, there's a lot of people from cold weather cities that move to Arizona and want to die in that oven of a city. Brian Dyer says, Vaughn, the Bears could have drafted Aaron Rodgers in the 05 draft. I know the Packers developed Aaron Rodgers, but I think a second-year Aaron Rodgers is better than Rex Grossman. Oh, easily. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he wouldn't be the Aaron Rodgers we know now because you're right. I mean, Aaron Rodgers was corrected by Mark McCarthy. You know, a lot of people make fun of Mike McCarthy, you know, right now because he's, you know, on the Cowboys and stuff. But, you know, he did fix Aaron Rodgers and put him on the path that he is on now, or has been. But without that on the Bears, yeah, you're right. He still would have been better than anything they had. So. John Mills said, Tampa Bay sure looked like they had fun on that boat parade holding the Lombardi. Who would have thought, right, John? I don't think, Brandon the Casual Gamer, I don't think taking Mahomes out of the game would help. We've seen at least, I know of two. We've seen two Chiefs playoff games where the backup came in and nothing changed. So literally nothing changed. They just moved the ball down the field, scored a touchdown, no problems. I've seen a backup for the Chiefs play a whole game for Mahomes and win it, you know. So I'm not so sure that would fix it because, well, there's two reasons. One, a good team, a team that's used to winning, can usually brace for that kind of change, you know, in a limited amount of time. They don't just fall apart, you know, all of a sudden if they're a good team, like a well-oiled machine like the Chiefs are. And on top of that, the Chiefs, we know there's an agenda there. So I don't think that would even work. Yeah, Ken. Yeah, Reggie Bush was a man out of his era. He's fit for now. He would do well now. So do I think that the greatest thrower of the football would have been as great in Chicago? You referring to Rodgers? No, no. Because he would have been good. He would have been a good player. But his footwork was absolutely atrocious, and that would have really screwed him up, especially on a team like the Bears. No offense, but to Bears fans, but it's true. You know it's true. So yeah, it would have been different. Like, people, a lot of these people that want to be, pundits or whatever, and they get on, even on like big places like ESPN and stuff, and they don't seem to understand where you go and your fit is extremely important. It is. It's just absolutely important. It matters. If the Bears went after Mahomes instead of drafting Mitch Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes is probably the backup in Pittsburgh right now. Okay? He's probably doing the Justin Fields carousel and quarterback carousel and, a lot of the other guys who are bouncing around to other teams. And you're like, oh, that's where he ended up. And you're asking yourself, like, what happened to that guy? That would be Mahomes right now. And it's only because he never would have got a chance to show what he can do. There never would have been a learning process. There never would have been sitting behind Alex Smith. There never would have been Andy Reid, the quarterback whisperer. Okay? There never would have been a stable environment around him with players like, back then he had, Jesus, what's his face? Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill, and to a lesser extent, Travis Kelce. Because I say to a lesser extent because I think Travis Kelce is the most overrated football player in history. I don't think he's actually that good. I think, and I've said this before, when he's gone, the tight end that takes his place will have the same production. It will have very or similar production, close to it. I just think that's the case. But still, that Patrick Mahomes would not have had that. He would have gone to the Bears. They would have had a bad season. It wouldn't have, he would have been thrown to the Wolves in week 1. And then he just phases out from there, and we never hear from him again. That's probably what would have happened, most likely. Because Patrick Mahomes, for the longest time, was a one-trick pony. And when you're a one-trick pony, meaning that the only thing you can do is just run around and hope to get open, hope somebody get open, you have, big arm strength. Well, that's 90% of every guy who's coming out of college. That's just how they play. He wouldn't have been able to overcome that in Chicago. So, because there wouldn't have been anybody there to understand how his game works. And that's why Andy Reid went after him specifically. It's because Andy knew he could do that. Go watch any Chiefs game with Alex Smith. Go watch the Alex Smith Chiefs under Andy Reid. Pretend like you'd never heard of the name Patrick Mahomes, and you will seriously think, okay? You will seriously think that Alex is Mahomes, okay? And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about how they look or how they move or whatever. I mean the plays he's running, the completions he's making, the formations that he's calling for. Everything is the same. If anybody knows this, it's Patriots fans, because Alex killed us twice. Okay? They embarrassed us in week 4 of 2014. And then they embarrassed us in week 1, the opener. I want to say 2017. It's after we came off the, I think it was then. But yeah, we got embarrassed in prime time by Alex Smith twice. So we knew that. We knew when Patrick Mahomes started doing what he was doing. Of course, Patrick did it better than Alex. I'm not saying that. But we knew. Like, I knew what I was watching. I'm like, oh, that's Alex. That's what Alex was doing. So it's important where you go. Yeah, Mac Jones. I agree with Terrence Gibbons. Mac Jones is mentally weak. He's broken. He never had it. You know, Milena used to say when he would do post-game press conferences, she'd be like, why does he always sound like he's about to cry? She asked, why does he sound like a child, kind of, when he's talking? And it's true. She's not wrong about that. He was just mentally weak. And I don't understand Belichick's thinking. You had to have seen this, in the interview process, right? I mean, you had to know. Very weird. And Mac was, covered up by what he was working with. That's why I said, for years, I would say don't go with a Saban quarterback because it's like a Matt Leinart situation where you really don't know how good they are because the system is so good and everything around him is so good. And in college, that matters. So I was always kind of like iffy on that kind of thing. So. John Thomas Chavez says, heck, go watch any McNabb or Vic game under Andy Reid and you'd think the same thing. It's exactly right. Had Michael Vick, let's go even further. Had Michael Vick been drafted by the Eagles, now I know he came a year later after McNabb, but let's pretend that McNabb and Vick came out the same year. Okay? Let's say they were drafted 1 and 2. And Vick goes to the Eagles. Michael Vick's, as long as he stays healthy, which is something that he had trouble with. But if he was able to stay healthy, he's probably on track to at least be talked about as a Hall of Famer. That's, because we saw what happened when he got a chance to play with Andy Reid just for a short time. And he almost won MVP. If it wasn't for Brady having such efficiency in 2010, Michael Vick would have gotten the MVP. So. That's true, John. John's saying not to be that fan, but just to have fun. One could make the fact that Mahomes could easily be made fun of for late game chokes like Josh Allen had Kansas City not had so many calls go in their favor. It is interesting. If you take away some of the weird calls, it'd be much different looking. That's for sure. I want you guys to think about what happened with when they lost. The Chiefs were supposed to go to the Super Bowl against the Rams. That's what was supposed to happen. But what transpired caught the refs off guard and they really couldn't do anything about it, which was Mahomes threw an interception, but it bounced and the Bengals player popped it up and then they intercepted it in overtime. There's really not much you can do about it at that point. It just switched everything. So that's what I'm saying. That's what it takes to get to move the Chiefs out. You've got to take it away from the refs. You've got to make it to where they can't intervene. Never in my life have I seen a more obvious example of a league handing on a silver platter a Super Bowl to another team as I did with the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. That will be, in my opinion, that is the most egregious thing I've ever seen in NFL history. There are some contenders, okay? Bengals, Rams is very close. Steelers, Seahawks is pretty close. But that call on the Eagles that gave the Chiefs the game right there. We've never seen that before. We've never seen one play directly as a result of the referees giving the Lombardi Trophy to another team. We've never seen that before. That's it. If it was legit, that head ref picks that flag up and says, no. If that pass interference was, first of all, if that ball was even anywhere near him, and it shouldn't have been pass interference anyway, it should have been something different. But you don't call that. The ref says, no. Sorry. We're not handing a Super Bowl over on a call like that. And not only that, they could have called, offensive holding, which, by the way, the Chiefs are the only team I've ever seen who wins 3 Super Bowls and it was never called for holding one time. And this is a Chiefs team that holds all the time, okay? There's clearly something wrong. There's something weird there. And I know that butthurt Chiefs fans are going to come along and say, oh, well, they said this about the Patriots, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I can argue every time another team was accused of these things happening. I can show how that's incorrect. And I can even bail out the Chiefs on certain calls. There's certain things that I agree went and should have gone their way. But then there's the ones that you can't explain, that make no sense. So it's just true. It's true. And now they're making way too much money. The Taylor Swift thing is completely transformed the NFL fan base. But they also know that as soon as Taylor Swift and Kelsey are no longer contractually obligated to be a couple, that all goes away. So it's over after that. So they're going to try to keep this going as long as possible, make sure that they keep the attention there. So, because the moment they break up, Taylor Swift's MO is to write songs about her most recent breakup, right? And she probably doesn't even write the songs. They're written by a bunch of different people for her, but that's the theme they go with. It's all acting. Okay. It's all crap. There's no artistry in it at all. There's no realism at all. And so all the Swifties, or whatever the hell you want to call them, will turn against Kelsey. So then they won't want to watch football anymore. They won't, so that won't matter anymore. I don't like talking this way. I don't like being this way. It really bothers me. But I've told you guys, how do you get me to follow a conspiracy theory? How do you get me to follow that, to look into one? It's very simple. I have certain criteria that has to be satisfied first. There are certain things that, one, motive for anything. You see JFK assassination or the moon landing or 9/11, okay, whatever it is. I need to know what the motive was. Opportunity, was it there? Was it possible? Is it possible to even pull off? Does the success of such a thing outweigh the negatives of getting caught? Are the benefits worth it? And then after all of that, I look at that, and then the final thing is, can I disprove it? Can I find something wrong with it that doesn't add up? That's exactly what I go through. Forever, for as long as I've watched football, the only thing I've been able to come up with for various games, and you can just pick out certain games or whatever throughout history. The only thing I could find, I couldn't find any blatantly obvious, like players scripting things or players knowing, talking to the opposition about where they're going to go and all that. Couldn't find anything like that. Couldn't find a direct link from the NFL offices to, certain coaches or whatever. I know just from personal experience that the whole kicking field goals thing is nonsense. Although you don't need personal experience to know that that's idiotic. The only thing I couldn't disprove, and the one thing that I've always maintained, is that I've noticed that refs can go rogue. Certain refs can do their own thing, and there's nothing we can do to stop it because they belong to the NFL. And for example, let's say the guy who didn't call the pass interference, the famous one of the Rams Saints, right? Big deal. He knocked him out of bounds. Who cares? Stop being such wusses. But come on, this is football. This is ridiculous. Did they call it? No, they didn't. Good. Okay. Yeah, what was I saying? So, yeah, the refs, the only thing I could find was refs, going rogue. And let's say that the guy who didn't make the famous call for the Saints Rams, right? Let's say that he was involved in something and he did that for himself, and the NFL found out about it and they knew. They quietly fired him and nobody ever knew. And so we never knew. And that's the most that will happen. That's the most that will happen because they own the refs. Now, had we had a athletic commission, state athletic commission, the commission's job would be to publicize that they had to fire this guy because of what he did. And then that puts everybody on notice. But because we don't have that protection, or that, whatever you want to call it, that backstop for doing stuff like that, the NFL can literally do whatever they want if they choose to. But I think for the longest time, I think that they never were willing to go that direction because the risk of getting caught would be too great. But I think that changed with COVID. COVID changed the world, and the world of business. It changed the business world in that businesses realized they could do whatever they wanted. They could charge whatever they wanted. They could say whatever they wanted. And they were always protected by the government, no matter what it was. If you don't think that is the case, just remember, at the same time you weren't allowed to go to church, you were allowed to go to a football game. You were allowed to go shop at Walmart, but you couldn't go to the local bakery that you love to go to. They were closed. Walmart's open. Okay. Or they say, oh, just order something on Amazon. They all realize this. And make no mistake, the NFL's a business, and their CEO is, their commissioner, whatever, is Roger Goodell, and he is a politician. He's a politician, slash businessman. He does not care about football at all, doesn't give a flying crap about the sport. His father was a politician. He has a gay brother, which is why they're always pushing the gay agenda. But I think, so COVID changed everything. And it made them realize we really don't need the fans. We really don't care if they're happy or not. They made just as much money when their fans couldn't be in the stadium for a few weeks. They realized this, and they're like, actually, we're untouchable. And that's when everything changed. And now they're getting rid of it. So, and now they're just continuing, or they're not getting rid of that way of thinking now. They're just going to continue this down this road. It's the same thing with the way, with the way I see something, or where there's conspiracy or not. It's like the JFK thing. So nothing makes any sense. Great throw by Kirk Cousins there. Nothing makes any sense in the JFK assassination. The Warren Commission, none of it makes any sense. There's too many discrepancies, too many lies, too many weird occurrences. It fits every category of my personal criteria of what constitutes something not being true. And so the official story is nonsense. It just can be picked apart so well. But it happened at a time where they never thought about the future and how we would all be, the entire population of the world can just get on the internet and look up things and see for themselves and understand how things happen. They just never really fathomed it, or they didn't care. Let me catch up with you guys. I'm sure this is going well over audio, radio, whatever. I'm just reading the comments. John Mills said, if KC has an undefeated three-peat, I'm done with the NFL. Then you might be done with the NFL then. So it all relies on how long that contract is between Taylor and Kelsey, to be quite honest with you. Or unless Kelsey gets injured. And speaking of Kelsey, I have zero respect for Andy Reid. Zero respect. I have no respect for Andy Reid anymore. I don't. I have, as a man, he's not a man. He's not a man. He's a fat, stupid coward. He is a beta male. First of all, when Kelsey yelled at him during the Super Bowl, yelled in his face, a real coach, Kelsey wouldn't have dared to do that to him. But the reason he felt comfortable doing it is because he knows that Reid is a beta. What Andy Reid should have done is said, sit your butt down. And I'm cutting him. He is no longer a Chiefs player. It's over. You can't let that go by. You cannot let that pass. And so I have zero respect for him now. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. When I saw the replay of him yelling at Andy Reid, I thought, wow, what's Andy going to do about this? Because he's got to do something. Nothing was done. Nothing. Okay, John Mill, now you're starting to make me nervous. The thing with Arian Foster, that he was joking. That was a gag. That was a spoof or whatever. That wasn't real. And they don't have to script anything anyway. That would be, first of all, that again, there's going back to my criteria, the ability or the how you're going to do it. It's too complicated. It's too messy. Too many people involved. And you don't have to do that. You just let these great athletes, they just play. Let them play, and they're going to do great things. They're going to do great catches and great throws and great runs and all this crazy stuff, okay? They're going to do it on their own anyway. All you have to do is control it. And that's what the referees are for. The referees are the arm of the NFL headquarters. So that's how they achieve these things, if they want to. I don't think they do it for everything. It's unnecessary. But to say that none of this happens would be very naive. Yeah, well, athletic commissions, and like I've said before, that they're not perfect. It's not going to solve everything. But it's still a separate entity from the NFL. The worst thing you can have is the NFL running their own referees. That's idiotic. I mean, that's like when the FBI says, we've investigated ourselves and we've found that there was no wrongdoing of ourselves. Okay. With an athletic commission, you still have you're going to have some people who are trying to do their job or have competing opinions or different reasons for why they might say something. And an athletic commission would have to disclose firings and changes and investigations and things of that nature. We're still made aware of them. And that is way, way better than what we have right now, which is nothing, where you can't even question the refs without getting fined. And if you keep questioning them, you eventually get suspended. The NFL literally is ran like communist Soviet Union. All right? You've got to take it out of their hands. You've got to, the refs have to be represented from a different entity. And that's for all the sports. Nothing's perfect. Nothing is tamper proof, but it's still 10 times better than what we have now. John Mills asking me about 9/11, something I actually lived through. How old are you, John? Hey guys, I'm gonna go get a new Coke. I'll be right back. Okay? Don't leave, and I'll try to answer your question, John. Okay. Thanks for waiting. Guys, we have 35 viewers, only 17 likes. Could you guys do me a favor and hit that like button? And also make sure that when you're subscribed, make sure that bell icon is a solid color. Because if it's not, it's all random if they tell you about a show or a video or anything that's coming out. Okay? Israel says, when Kelsey ran up to Andy Reid like that and shoved him, that's the exact moment that confirmed my suspicion. That's who he is. He's a punk. He's always been a punk. I've always hated his guts. You guys know that. I've never moved off that. Even the first Brady Hate videos shows a video of Travis Kelsey where I point out how big of a piece of crap he is. And that was pre-Mahomes and all that. Yeah, Todd Bowles is not a good coach. He's a good defensive coordinator, I think, but not a good overall guy to run everything. I just don't think he's the right guy. That Kelsey Andy Reid thing is. I knew who was running things at that point. I knew that Kelsey felt like he was more important than Andy Reid. Kelsey knew. He knew that he is more important to the situation. That the NFL finds him more important than Andy Reid. He knew he could get away with it. That's what should piss you off the most. That's what should bother anybody the most, is that Kelsey felt comfortable doing it. Like he was okay with it. He knew he could. Fumble. Holy crap, I just saw Mike Evans actually jump on a fumble. I hope he didn't get his... Did you think he broke a nail? Maybe. He got on his knees pretty quick. He might be the next Colin Kaepernick. Okay. So John, you're 40, huh? So you're born 84, and yeah. So I was when 9/11 happened, September 11th. That was a few weeks before my birthday. So I was 20 on September 11th. What's up?
What's up? I want to hear that sound again.
Oh, you want to hear it again? Yeah, that's something I added.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
This thing is an idiot. What makes you think he can do the job?
Okay, fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
I need some dudes up here who speak American, goddammit.
Looks like the Bucs are driving. If the Falcons don't do something here, Bucs can get too far ahead because with the way these defenses really don't seem to be able to stop big plays. It's kind of pathetic. I don't know. I just added it today, I think. It's one of many things, but I added a few over the last few weeks, but I'd never used them. Okay, yeah. So you asked me about 9/11, right? 9/11 is a situation where there's too many discrepancies. There are some things that are true and factual, and then there are things that make no sense that either lead to something being covered up or something doesn't either mathematically make sense or factually make sense in ways that certain things were done. And that always leads to conspiracy because it means that you have to remember, if one piece of information is covered up, or if one person knew, just one other person knew here in America that this was going to happen, you've got a conspiracy now. So it doesn't take much to cross that threshold into being a valid conspiracy. I have a lot of different friends who believe certain, ways about 9/11, all the way from the exact official story. Although I only know a few people like that really believe the official story. All the way to people who think the whole thing was just, I met somebody who thought it was all CGI or whatever. So there's like a lot of different viewpoints on that. You'll see consistency in the way I view certain conspiracies and stuff, and it's that simplicity. It's always what's simple is always true. That's the best route to go. So, for example, saying that there's nobody on the planes, I don't believe that. I think there are real people. And the reason there are real people is because you would have to load them at a public airport. And if they were fake people, you'd have to create fake identities, and then you would risk being caught doing that. It's too much bull crap. Again, simplicity. It's much easier just to put real people on a real flight and murder them. And that's what they did. So they're real people, they're real planes, they're real, but then you've got other things. So that's the real part. And then you've got the problems. The problems are Osama bin Laden was working for the CIA. That's a huge problem. Huge problem. Massive problem. Okay? That alone already knocks this out of the park. Okay? Already. This guy initially was responsible for trying to bomb the World Trade Center with a van. Okay? Parked it in the basement of the World Trade Center. You guys, some of y'all remember this. I was like 13 when this happened. Like 93, I think. And that's how they kind of turned him after that. So he was always working for us. So the fact that they blamed him and the people that they blamed, that right there is clearly not accurate, completely accurate. It's not. So something wrong with that. So there you go. There's your false information. I'm not an expert, but I don't believe that the World Trade Center alone could collapse just by getting hit by a plane. I'm not sold on that. I don't believe that the terrorists or operatives or whatever you want to call them, I don't believe that they hijacked the plane with box cutters. That is one of the more ridiculous things that they've tried to sell us. That's so illogical. It's absolutely ridiculous. What's more likely is that all you'd have to do is store guns or explosives, have somebody store them on the plane before you ever get on the plane. And that's not that hard. Okay? If it's an op, if it's a, black ops, like CIA or something like that, that's no problem. Okay? So whoever was running the operation on each plane had access to better weapons than just box cutters. That's complete nonsense. You could have had a plane full of teenage volleyball girls, and they could have overcome that, okay, with a bunch of dudes with box cutters. So it's nonsense, especially after several of them. I mean, no, okay, just no. That's just suspension of belief that has to occur there. The lack of being forthcoming about the cameras and things like that, that's a big problem. Again, if something is accurate, if something is true, you don't hide evidence. You don't cover up evidence. Let me give you an example. The first assassination attempt on Trump, July 13th, in Butler, Pennsylvania. What did you see? You see tons of videos, tons of things, tons of accurate visual stuff. Everything makes sense. Everything fits. We know that kid. We know that he was up there shooting. People watched him. We have it on video. We know he died. What are the things that we don't know? We don't know why there was someone who was tracked. A cell phone ID was tracked to his house. Someone who'd been at his house who was also tracked around the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. at the J. Edgar Hoover building. That's a problem. See? That's a problem. That's when it goes from lone gunman to conspiracy. That's when it jumps the shark. Okay? If that didn't occur, then you'd have to ask yourself, well, how did he get onto the building? How did he walk around so easily? How did security miss everything? See, that kid doesn't have the ability to do that. So, exactly. So that's the levels, and you break those down, and then you kind of understand what's happening here. Come on, Kirk. Black Lives Matter, they're still wearing that crap on their helmet? Come on. The day of 9/11, all of our military was grounded. Two fighter pilots who actually went up in the air and took their planes got in trouble for doing that because they were trying to intercept the plane that supposedly crashed in Pennsylvania. And we could do this all day. There's just way too much. There's way too many lies. And when there's lies and when there's discrepancies and things that don't make sense, that's when you know. Because the truth makes sense. The truth is just how it is. If there was no problems with what happened on 9/11, if it was exactly the way they claim, then there would be mountains of evidence. There'd be mountains of them coming forward, showing us, telling us, high-profile investigations every step of the way. And that's how it's done. Then you've got conspiracies that are, in my opinion, crazy. Okay. Yeah, Israel, like Building 7. Like, why in the world did that collapse? You know, like Building 7 housed offices for a lot of the government, FBI and things like that. And then we've got the missing trillion dollar unaccounted for in military funds that the Pentagon just supposedly magically lost the day before 9/11. You've got the guy who owned the building, the World Trade Center, who just got it insured and he was losing money on it every day. And look into that guy's background and that will make more sense to you too. But yeah, and then you've got crazy conspiracy theories like the Earth is flat. See that things like that fall under things that I can prove are fake, that are not real. I'm not, going after or calling anybody, idiots or anything like that. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying that I don't subscribe to that. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, Earth is what it is. And yes, we did land on the moon. And I know that just from personal experience as well, running experiments and being around experiments and things like that. So I do know that we landed on the moon. And for entertainment value, I've watched a lot of the conspiracy theory videos about the moon landing. And I myself can prove every one of them incorrect, or correct or debunk, or whatever you want to call it, their theories. The moon landing comes from what I've noticed is a lack of understanding of how things were back in 1969. And a lot of the misunderstanding of the process of the moon landing and how it was done, the physics behind it, the technology behind it, what was required. People, and I see them a lot, okay? They think with a modern mind. You cannot look at the past with your mind that you have now. It doesn't work, okay? So many people make these mistakes, and that's where these things come from, okay? I'll give you a few examples. Are you guys interested in this at all? I don't want to go on a soliloquy here if this is boring you guys, because we can talk about the game, but it's just kind of, if you're watching the game, you're watching it. What do you want me to say? So okay, I'll go ahead. Whatever. Besides, we're waiting on the fourth quarter anyway. We're waiting for, something interesting to happen. Then we'll pick it up. But when when you try to apply your thinking now and into the past, these mistakes are made over and over. Here's a few examples. I saw a movie where a guy went back in time. It was a movie made recently. Guy goes back in time to the 1930s in New York. And he sees a guy reading a newspaper, and it's talking about Adolf Hitler. And it shows how evil Adolf Hitler is and all these things that he's doing and all these evil things. And he sees two guys talking about it. And they seem to be favorable towards what Hitler was doing. And the guy walks up, the time traveler walks up and says, "Hey, he's evil. Why are y'all talking like that?" And they're just like, "Yeah, whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. Doesn't matter." Can you guys see the mistake that the movie made? What'd they do wrong? What'd they do wrong in that? See if anybody can get it. Exactly. Hindsight bias. The time that they went back to, there was no knowledge of that. They thought with a modern mind. They thought with what they know now. Exactly. Hindsight bias. They forgot that their character wouldn't know these things yet. You're too soon. You're too soon. This is a basic mistake. Another mistake that actually caused a lot of controversy is Barack Obama's birth certificate. That one really opened up a lot of crap. Like, just from one mistake. Touchdown! All right, so we got a tie game. So it looks like this fourth quarter may be interesting. So. Waku better not miss it. Milena will get mad. Gotta make this extra point, buddy. I don't know where you guys are in the game, like if I'm ahead of you or if I'm behind. So sorry if I ruined it. Waku! Wewiku! What? Your favorite kicker, Koo, just kicked. Yeah, Waku.
Oh.
He made a huge field goal earlier.
Yeah.
It's like 50 yards, over 50 yards. So, you want to say hi? No? Okay. She said no, guys, sorry.
TV.
But it's advertising anyway, so. Just real quick, so what I was saying is about Obama's birth certificate is that a mistake they made ended up causing more controversy than it should have. And the mistake is that the idea was supposed to get an original birth certificate. That was the point, right? They decide just to recreate something that they claim already existed anyway. So, okay, fine. So they go there, they create this birth certificate, right? But they're telling us they didn't create it. They're telling us it's an original. There's a problem. It says under race, it says African American. And it's an issue, okay? You see? So the person who designed it was using bias of a modern time, not realizing that should have said something different. And so that just opened up more of a problem than it needed to. So mistakes like that happen a lot. And the point to the moon landing is what I'm saying is that people are thinking now with bias their bias now for back then. They assume because we have these stupid cell phones and everything that is how things got done back then. So they didn't have the technology to go to the moon, blah, 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 blah. That's as simple as people think about it. And that's as simple as they approach it. They don't think about the physics involved and the customized machinery and parts and things that they designed just for that one special mission, that one special thing. There wasn't some warehouse where you order these. Okay, everything is custom made for this one project. 10 years worth of everything America could throw at this thing. Smartest people we could find. It was a collective effort to achieve this. And people think in modern terms now. So that's all I was trying to get at is thinking back like that. So that's the trouble with the moon landing that I've seen with most people is that they think with a modern thing go, well, we didn't have the technology back then. Yeah, well, that right there immediately tells me that you don't understand how we went to the moon and what was involved. So, but it's an interesting subject. You know what? I'm starting to get to a point wondering if the Falcons know that Mike Evans is supposed to be covered. Do you think that they've gotten the memo? Who do I think will play Kansas City in the Super Bowl this season? Detroit. You know, I don't think the NFL cares about who the other team is. So, not this year. There doesn't seem to be an agenda for the NFC side. So, it'll probably be Detroit. Tyree, what's up, man? What's up? Yeah, Tharn. It's like saying Hippocrates was a crappy physician since he never had an MRI machine. Yeah, it's weird, right? So. Funny, my viewers increased when I started talking about other things other than football. That's interesting. If you guys are interested in stuff like that, I invite you to subscribe to Von Allen's America. You can see it. It's right there. See the image? Yeah. Right there. Okay. Yeah, just subscribe there, and because I'll have different guests on, and I have a friend who knows the 9/11 stuff. Everything, man. Every detail, and really we can get into that. It's really fun, and of course I can go into detail more about the moon landing and all that, and we can go into anything like that, different stuff. So I do find time travel interesting, though. I love time travel movies, time travel books, even though obviously it's not something that can really be done, but it's fascinating. I see it as a thought experiment. Like, what would you do? Would you, and all that. So me and Milena, we, occasionally we get locked in these philosophical conversations. We're just sitting there talking for hours about different things, and we were oh, nice run by Baker there. We were thinking about, like, what if we went back in time and saved Lincoln? What would happen? And we came up with the idea, or the result that would be, what we'll find out is that Lincoln will always be assassinated no matter what we do. What we'll find is that when we went back in time, we were actually part of the event that caused it to happen. So maybe when we walked in, we caught the attention of one of the soldiers, and they were watching us instead of watching John Wilkes Booth. And had we never been born, had we never gone back in time to try to meddle with it, maybe Lincoln doesn't get assassinated. But because we always were going to go back in time, we actually were the cause. So even if you could go back in time, you find out, so it's a loop, right? And that's kind of what we come to the realization that if it was possible, that's probably the case, because you can't alter the outcome because it's already happened. So the best you could hope for, if you could go back in time, is just to be a part of the events that's already taken place. So it's an interesting thing to think about. How you doing, Tyree? How's the family? How you kids doing? Oh, Ryan, I've never played that. That sounds cool, though. Tharn says, no one used the term African American until Jesse Jackson in the 90s. My grandfather used to have an Afrikaner co-worker who was the centerpiece over an interesting lunch conversation over the term African American. I find it insulting, honestly. I don't like it. Personally, well, perfect example, Tyree, he's not from Africa. The hell are you talking about? He's not from Africa. Tyree is an American. He's an American. I'm not from England, okay? Maybe at some point in ancient history, somebody related to me is from there. Well, if you keep going far back enough, someone related to me is from the Roman Empire, and someone related to me is from Egypt, probably somewhere, and somewhere before that is in Mesopotamia, and somewhere before that, and so on, right? I'm an American. My family's been here for centuries. I'm not a British American, even though that's the most recent country that you could trace my family back to. Just like Tyree is not an African American. It's insulting. And what it does is it separates people from being what they are, their rightful place. Their rightful place is an American. That's what we are. That's what we're proud of. We are citizens and members of the greatest empire the world has ever seen at this point, as far as achievements, as far as changing the world, as far as military power. And that's something to be proud of. And I'm not sharing that with England by saying I'm British American. No, you're either American or you're not. Okay? You don't see other countries doing that. You don't see, it's only in our country that they do that, and it's ridiculous. And for the life of me, I can't imagine why any Black American would even want to be referenced that way. Like, why? I mean, if you're from Africa, that's different. But if you're not, why would you even say that? It's ridiculous. So, okay, so let's see what the Falcons can do here. They're up 30. Bucs are up 30-27. Just got a field goal there. So only 10 minutes left. We'll stick with this and see what happens. Is there a documentary on 9/11? I can get you a list and send it to you. Just email me at vonallensports@icloud.com, Tyler, and I can send you a list. Tharn says, I don't call myself a Scottish American. Never even been to Europe. Guys, Milena doesn't even call herself Bulgarian American. And she has a right to. She was born there. If you watch her when she fills out a bio or anything, or someone asks her where she's from, she says, Florida. Because that's the place that she went to first when she first came to America. As far as she's concerned, she's American. That's something to be proud of. When you do that hyphen stuff, it kind of comes off like you're not fully here, you know? And I don't know, I think it's weird. With a name like Jaguar, I thought maybe you're maybe from Czech Republic or something. Yeah, someone asked me where I'm from. I say Arkansas, even though I've lived more of my life outside of Arkansas than I did live in it. I don't know about you, but I'm tired of seeing Snoop Dogg's face. Just one of those people that get annoying. It's like, what's that short guy's name, that comedian? Get tired of seeing his face too. Everywhere. Ryan Dyer says, you can't take the Missouri out of me, bro. Yeah, thank you, John. Kevin Hart. There's just some people that they just oversaturate with it. And it's like, oh, come on. Enough. So what do you guys think? What do you want to happen? Do you want Drake May to go ahead and play, or do you want him to keep him on the bench for the whole year and let Jacoby kind of do his thing? I prefer Jacoby playing through it, and I just don't think that Drake May is going to be the difference maker of any kind at all. I think it's all risk and no reward. Let's say that he comes out there and he's good and he doesn't have those rookie problems. He's going to only be, in that best case scenario, which is not likely, he's only going to be marginally better than Jacoby can be, right? But the truth is, we know how it goes. He'll be worse just by virtue of being a rookie and panicking and not knowing what to do. So that's my thing. But what do you guys think? Hey, what are you doing? Let's remember, Jacoby Brissett was Tom Brady's backup. So he knows something, you know? I mean, that's not everything, but at least he's got that. So there's something still left of Brady on that team, you know? And I think that's really good, especially for Drake May to learn from. Doesn't mean that Jacoby is everything's going to translate, but it certainly doesn't hurt, I'll tell you that much. Holding on the Falcons. What? Come here. What are you making a fuss about? Israel, I just got your text on Signal. I am very aware of what you just mentioned to me. Absolutely. It's disgusting. Yeah, Tharn. So you're basically saying that if you're a team like the Bears or the Redskins, you're drafting your quarterback to be the savior of the franchise, and you don't have anybody else. So in that case, you would put the rookie out there. But if you have a serviceable starter, then you'd be more inclined to set the rookie. Is that what you're saying? I'm assuming. Come on, Kirk Cousins, don't choke this again. Actually, why do I care? I don't have a preference. Well, I don't want to see him embarrass himself either. Oh my God. Wide open on 3rd and 6. Would have put you right there in first, I think, let me see again. Put him in the red zone or close to it. Just dropped it. Just dropped it. Took his eyes off the ball. Gonna have to have Milena teach these guys how to catch. Right before he caught, his eyes shifted to where he was gonna go. Way cool. 54-yard. I would go for it in this situation, but okay. See? Blocked. Not good. Falcons pulling the Falcons, guys. Falcons do what Falcons do. If the Bucs put any points up here, well, no. If they put a field goal, then the Falcons can still potentially win the game. But if the Bucs put up a touchdown, this thing's finished. So I had a bad feeling about that kick. As soon as I said it, I was like, I would go for it, and then blocked. Would you stop whining? Come over here. What are you doing? What are you looking for? Huh? Come here. Okay. You want to say hi, kiddo? Say meow. Meow. Talk. Say, I am Octavia. Talk? You don't want to say anything? Huh? Okay. Okay. Apparently she's only talkative in the background. But this is what she wanted, I guess. She wanted to be picked up. That's why she was talking so much. Is your pleasure, pleasure? Meow, meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. No? Okay. Ooh, floating kitty. Meow. I am kitty cat. And she just changed the button. Good job with her foot. She just switched to screen share. Nice. Look at it. She's trying to control the show, right? Ain't she? Wow. Come on, enough advertising. Let's go. Never take your eyes off the ball. If you keep your eye on the ball all the way, you will never drop it. You can't drop it. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but I just keep saying it. You can catch it if you watch it. Don't have to worry about where you're going if you don't make the catch, buddy. Second and 10. Run up the middle. Pretty good run. We picked up about 7 yards there. Rumble just gave me a notification that Von Allen Sports started streaming. Thank you, Rumble. I appreciate you sending that out to everybody. 2 hours after I started. That's useful. Thanks. And Baker's going to get the first down. Run and slide. There you go. Unlike Tua, who goes head first, even though he's had 47 concussions. Yeah, they're moving the ball too easily now. The Falcons never go full Falcons, man. Never go full Falcons.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
Okay. Second and 5. Only 4.5 minutes left. Baker back to pass. Dumps it off. Wow. Again, look at this. That should have been, at most, a 3-yard play. At most. What you doing? Are you watching football? Come here. All right. Let's see. Third down. You going to call it? Let's see. She's going to call it. All right. You can play with it. She likes to touch the players on the screen. First down. They got it. They're just going to keep running the clock now. This is good football on account of the Bucs. Real good. Falcons. Always go full Falcons. Never go full Falcons. First and 10. Another. Oh, he stripped. Falcons got the ball. Oh my God. Went to the well too many times. Although, what can you do, right? I mean, you've got to. If it's working, it's working. I mean, you don't expect to get stripped like that, but... Oh, man, that got popped out so clean. Who's number 3 on the Falcons there? What a job. All right, guys, let's see what happens here. Bates. All right. Yeah, the ball getting punched out like that, it's just hard to defend from, you know? And the Falcons do what is the dumbest possible. Okay. There's only 2.5 minutes left in the game. You've got to get all the way downfield. And they run it up the middle. Why are you helping the Bucs? Holy crap. Now they just got sacked. Falcons, Falcons, Falcons. This is embarrassing. 3rd and 19. Good job, guys. I would like to know what the thinking process was with that first down run. What was that? Why? Why? Is it just like a Falcons thing? Really? And here we go. Kirk Cousins choking in prime time again. He can play good. He can do all these things, but he cannot close it. 4th and 15. This is the game right here. They built him that nice stadium for nothing. You know what? I don't think you should get a new stadium unless you win the Super Bowl. Huh. I think you got to deserve it. Falcons, Falcons, Falcons. Again, why? Why did you run on first down? Why did you do that? What in the world? Imagine having those stats of Kirk Cousins and losing this game anyway. when you were given a chance. When your defense got the ball for you. This right here, this is the difference between good quarterbacks and great ones. Let's see if he can do it. 4th and 15. Highly unlikely. And he got picked off. Good job, Kurt.
Retard,
He's an
man.
idiot.
Never go for
What
retard.
makes you think he can do the job? This thing is an idiot. What makes you think he can do the job?
Utterly pathetic. How many timeouts does these idiots have? I don't understand this scoreboard. Where is... Oh, there it is. Okay. They got 3. So they have to force a kick, force a field goal, and then get... So they have the right for Kirk Cousins to throw another pick. So that'll be interesting. Never go full Falcons. All right, 2nd and 13.
They put Bucky Irving back out there even after the fumble to show the confidence that they still have in him as a rookie.
Hey, Falcons, your job is supposed to try to, get them down and not let them get it first. Flag on the play. On the offense. So, the refs are trying to make this interesting. Calling a Bucs, so it makes it harder for the Bucs to get a first down. It's a primetime game. They got to keep it close, right? So, let's see what happens. Second and 23, which this secondary has shown that they are willing to give up 2nd and 23. But not this time because Baker decided to dump it off instead of throwing it away. Bad idea. Bad idea, Baker. Bad idea. Yeah, Tharn. Well, that's because where you go matters. It's what I say. Location, location, location. Mike Evans is wide open.
I need some dudes up here who speak American, goddammit.
You might call me a pussy, but I won't hear you in my safe space. My safe space.
It's Mike Evans' favorite song. Okay, so that didn't go the way they wanted it to go, apparently. That penalty changed everything, didn't it? See how the refs have a lot of power if they want to have that power. That's why it needs to be taken away from them. That's why it has to be a separate entity. We have to watch the Chiefs again in primetime. It's annoying watching the Chiefs because you know something's going to happen and then you get pissed off about it. It's like, God, come on. Why can't they just win legitimately? I'd be behind them. I'd be talking really good about them. I'd appreciate them if it wasn't so phony. Because I respect greatness. All right, here we go. We ended up watching the whole game. Okay, Cousins, this time, don't run play up the middle, please. Let's see if we figured it out this time. Okay, small play there, getting out of bounds. Let's go, move it. Just keep it and hurry up. Doesn't matter if you got the clock stopped or not. Just move it. Keep the defense on their toes. Keep them guessing. There's Waku. Wah. Oh, wide open. They left him wide open. Kirk heard me. See? They on the sidelines, on the Falcons sidelines, they're watching Von Allen Sports live. And Kirk heard me, and now he's trying to prove me wrong. So. There it is again, another wide open. And he decides to try to fumble the game away. Wow. Even when the Falcons are doing good things, they still try to give the game up. It's amazing. They're trying their best to give it away. All right, 21 seconds. Just score a touchdown. I don't want to see an overtime of this. Soren says, yes, the Jacoby Myers interception is the best play ever. It's the funniest, most ridiculous play I've ever witnessed. The whole thing was comedy. The whole thing. Kirk, get out of bounds. There you go. Good play, good first down. See what good play calling does for you. See what happens when you just ignore your coordinator. Let the quarterback play football. First and 10, 17 seconds. Kirk back. Oh, incomplete. Great defense by the Bucs. Got his hand in there in time. 12 seconds left. Okay, so touchdown's out of the question at this point. So the only way you keep this game alive is Waku. Oh, come on. A Bucs player injured. How convenient. Waku is tying his shoes. Very cool. Way cool. Very cool. Wop, 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 wop. Thank you, Tyler. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. Just don't tear up your device. Kick it like coo. Way cool. Very cool. Wop, wop, wop. All right. Milena, I'm just realizing that nobody knows what I'm talking about. It's difficult. Who was my favorite non-Patriots, non-Tom Brady team? The Houston Oilers. Kirk back to pass. Wide open for a first down. You got to down the ball. They're out of timeouts. 3, 2, 1. Snap. Got it. All right. It's coup time. Way coup. What do you think, guys? I think coup's going to screw this up. Let me see. Let me see where the mark is. Let's see. Oh, 47 yards. Okay, I thought it was like 52. He's got this. You can't miss a 47-yarder as a professional. What's going on? What's taking so long? Flag on the play. Delay of game? What? What's going on here? Now it's a 52-yarder. Okay, I don't like it. Now what? This is ridiculous. How did that delay of game happen? Did they not push the clock back? That's weird. That seemed to go really fast. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Okay, one of these days he's going to kick this ball. Eventually. 52 yards, he's going to miss it. It's the Falcons. He's going to miss it. I can feel it. Too much crap's going on now. And he made it. Whoa, he did. Way cool. Very cool. Wop, 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 wop. Now we got an overtime of this crap. All right. Usually when a kicker has to wait that long, it usually doesn't go well for them. Too much in their own head. It's also interesting, his kicking mechanics are odd. Tyree, nope. You got to stay up a little longer. Still don't understand that delay of game thing, though. That was weird. And as usual, if they don't explain it very well or don't give us a reason, that means that something was wrong. Okay. So it looks like Falcons are going to receive. Great, more advertising. Whatever. In my safe space. Lead pipe lock of the week. Yeah. Way cool, very cool. Cool came through, actually. Good for him. Overtime for mediocrity. It's gonna take an overtime period to settle this mediocrity.
Look at this fucking thing.
Tyree, don't be worrying about going to bed early.
You ain't got no job, and you ain't got shit to do.
Right? No? Who's the worst owner in the NFL? Oh, wow. Interesting. Let me think about that for a second. Well, I would have, in the past, I would have said Dan Snyder, who changed the name from the Redskins. So we have to go to somebody who's just been a legacy of failure. I guess the McCaskey family, the Bears, probably. Or the Ford family, maybe, who owns the Lions. And the reason I'm picking them over someone, like I saw somebody pick Jacksonville. Jacksonville is it's not a legacy franchise. It's kind of, that guy, they've only had one owner, Shad Khan or something like that. Shao Khan from Mortal Kombat owns the Jaguars. He's not a football person, but the family that owns the Bears are related, okay, to the original owners of the Bears. So I think she's his great, either granddaughter or great granddaughter, something like that. But anyway, George Halas's granddaughter, let's say. The point is that they know football. They've seen it. They've been around it their whole lives. Football is the only business they're in, and they still suck. Year to year, they still suck. They have such a huge fan base, and they still can't get it done. Wow. Wow, it's over. Falcons win. Kirk did it. He did it. He proved me wrong. Look how happy they are. The Falcons are 3-2. Wow. Let's see a replay. Replay. No, but Waku helped his team win. Wop.
No one knows what you're talking about.
Eventually we'll get a replay. Right now they're just a bunch of hugging and... How is Baker smiling after losing like that? What could you possibly be laughing about? That's what I'm saying. Losing is supposed to hurt. It's supposed to piss you off. How is he laughing it up? Ridiculous. There's nothing you could say that's going to make me laugh like that after losing in that fashion. Look at them. They're all these players, they're always like, looks like they're about to make out after the game. It's like, come on, man. Just a missed tackle. The whole game came down to a missed tackle. That's... Go back to Pee Wee, learn how to wrap up there, buddy. Baker looks sad. He looks sad. Okay. All right. That'll do it. All right. Have fun this weekend, guys. Good game tonight. First Thursday night game. That was actually something. That was actually interesting. They got it on Matt Ryan night. So that's good. And don't forget to subscribe over at Von Allen's America. I'll be going live on there very soon. So thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. And have a good night.
Von Allen Sports. Fuck you. I'm subscribing. If you're not watching Von Allen Sports, fuck you.
This is the man with the most badass name in sports. The Pharaoh, the Egyptian god himself, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And on behalf of my man Von Allen, we want to thank you for your support. Let's fucking go.
Von Allen Sports.